It's the first time I'm going to be in studios with him this morning. And of course, when I have such persons of that nature sitting in studios with me, it's always a great privilege, always a great pleasure to have them in studios with me. And we are going to discuss a very interesting topic this morning. And of course, I know a lot of persons has questions on or doubts, about the whole issue of community policing. And our guest this morning, he would be able to enlighten us as the general public as to the whole concept of community policing. So I invite you to reach out to a friend, reach out to someone, and ask them to log on. Most definitely, I want to encourage the persons who are out there driving, the motorists, to be cautious on the nation's road this morning, and to practice safety, right? And in all, let us be able to continue to pray for our nation, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And good morning to those of you out there in the diaspora, and thank you for joining us on the program this morning. So I'm going to take the opportunity and say good morning to you, sir, and how are you?
A pleasant good morning to you. I'm good, and thanks for having me on the program this morning. I'm looking forward to the engagement.
Right. Wonderful. And, well, in that voice is no other person than ASP Glenn Charles. Some of you may have known him for years, operating as a prosecutor. However, he is now sitting in the chair of the coordinator or the person responsible for that of community policing within the Royal Grenada Police Force. So as we go and we dive into the program this morning, I know a lot of persons, has some knowledge, some need to have some clarity as relates to community policing, because ever so often they would hear community policing and they would hear the police speaking so many times that they are embarking on community policing initiatives, and that is the way forward now for the Rgpf. And I believe that with all of the administrative team within the Rgpf, they are working steadfastly to ensure that community policing strategies are worked on to help develop that of the Rgpf. So in light of all of that, what can you say to us is community policing?
All right, a pleasant good morning once again. Community policing is not new to Grenada. As a matter of fact, it's a global philosophy adopted by police forces throughout the universe. Because it's not just Grenada, OECS, Caribbean, it's international. So it's a philosophy of bringing people together, where the community work along with the police, all with the one aim: to reduce crime, reduce the fear of crime, and keeping communities safe. Right? So that philosophy has been advanced and it's been continuously developed as we go along to ensure that we bridge the gap and form that relationship, that partnership, that collaboration with the communities that the police serve. So it's the police and the community working together, to reduce crime, the fear of crime, and to keep communities safe.
And I believe that's a great way for us to start, because so many times within our communities, we believe that the police is the one that always has the job to be done, and they don't have anything to do in terms of the community as relates to reducing the fear of crime. And here it is important that we understand that with community policing, it's not just the police, but it's a collective effort with everyone, with the community involved, which creates a beacon of hope, for everyone, for the community, and with that of the necessary information that will be given, through community policing by the persons within the community, they can definitely enhance the work of the Rgpf on a whole.
Yeah, I see. Traditional policing has been predominantly a reactive. You sit there and you wait to receive reports and then respond. Right? That has changed and continues to change as we go along. Right? It's more proactive approach. yeah, a proactive approach into policing, where you get out into the communities, yeah, get among the people, get a feel from them by engaging them as to what are the issues that are facing the community, and walk along with them to develop strategic plans to address those issues of deviance and crime and so and disorder within the communities.
In fact, and that is so important because, as you said, traditionally we, as police officers, we sit behind the desk and you wait for information to come to you, you know. But when we, as police, you go out to the communities, you meet on a one-on-one with individuals, and you get to understand the needs of the community, and that in itself can allow the police force, or the Rgpf, by extension, to go back, I say, around the table, and to be able to plan, you know, to be able to meet now the needs of the community that would now allow us to have that level of connection, you know, each one reach one in that form. Yeah. So as we continue to speak about the community policing, what are some of the benefits as relates to community policing?
Right. So, as I said initially, community policing is all about bringing the community and the police together, right? And it has proven itself over the years to reduce crime, reduce the fear of crime, and ensure that communities are safe. Community policing is not new to Grenada, right? Dating back as far as 2005, the Rgpf has developed a community policing framework or guidelines, right, that we operated under. And as recent as last year, end of last quarter in 2023, another document was developed entitled Understanding Community Policing, which is being read alongside the 2005 manual to ensure that all stations, all police officers, because every police officer is a community policing officer. So that framework was developed to ensure that everybody understands the importance of community policing, the importance of engagement, the importance of customer service, the importance of going out in the community rather than sitting down in the building, walking along with the communities, whether it's on the farm, whether it's persons in the river, whether it's persons on the block, whether it's persons in the school, on the sporting field, no matter where they are, right? We have taken that strategic approach. We're going to meet people where they are, engage them, talk to them, listen, most importantly, listen to what they have to say, because they are looking from the outside. We are looking from the inside. Therefore, there are two different perspectives that can be had. So we have our perspective of what we are seeing from the inside. They are on the outside, they're looking on the inside. And so when we marry the two, we can come up with workable solutions and strategic plans to address issues, right? Once we identify those issues within the communities and we are able to develop plans, right, to address them and then execute those plans, definitely everybody benefits, the entire country, because crime is going to go down, the fear of crime is going to be reduced, yeah? And obviously communities will be safer. See, what we realize, there are a lot of people out there that, most of them don't know how to channel their energies, yeah? And so we have a lot of issues, conflicts, disorder, you know. Sometimes, very simple thing, people get disturbed over, get into a conflict, violent result, right? Community policing is all about empowering people to think positively, channel their energies in the right direction, ensure that nobody is a loser, but everybody wins, and how to handle their conflicts, how to handle their disorders, their disagreements, yeah? And channel all those energies into positive vibes and keep everyone safe.
And in fact, I want to concur with you as well, because when you have that network within the communities themselves, the job of the police becomes a lot easier, you know, because you have that bond, that unity among the persons within the community, and it therefore means now that you look out for each other, right? And the mere fact you have that level of education being disseminated or gathered through the person within the communities as to creating that bond with the police and them. I say reduce that fear of crime, because they now know that, hey, I can turn to someone that I can relate a particular issue to, and not having to fear that if I go to officer this or that station, I can be at risk. So community policing gives that level of safety network, for the person within the community, which I believe can enhance the way forward for the Rgpf and of course Grenada on a whole.
Yes, it's all about relationship building, right? Now, the information relies with the general populace, right? So if, let's suppose, you have a crime in a community, where does the information lies? Within the community. But strange enough, what we've seen happening in recent times, right? And I guess because some people don't understand the whole concept of community policing, and this program is very timely in ensuring that people get to understand what community policing is all about. Community policing is not about informants. It's not about people snitching. It's about relationship building, right? Look at what we see happening nowadays, and it's a culture that we need to address, a developing culture. People tend to turn to social media. So when something happens, where do they turn to? Social media. They post it on social media. They put the information on social media. Social media does not have a police force. But human beings are very emotional and very sensational. And so whatever vibes they get by posting it up on social media and by reading it and commenting on social media, it gives them some level of satisfaction. But it is the same energy that they will take to post information on social media. And what happens? Most of the time on social media, they withhold their identity. The same, we are asking them to resort to reporting the matters to the police, build that relationship with the police force, right? You can share the same information. You could still remain anonymous. That's not a problem. But if you're interested in your community, you're interested in the safety of your community, the well-being of your community, then we're asking persons to partner with the police and form that relationship, form that partnership, all towards keeping people safe.
And I believe that's the way forward for us as a country, as the people, because so many times you would hear with all of that of the gun violence that is now stemmed up within our communities and so forth, and even with the delinquent behaviors that are happening among our young persons. You're here, they're asking, what is the government doing or what is the Rgpf doing? But the question I always ask, what is it that you, as a citizen, as an individual, your responsibility, what is it that you are doing? Because most of the times you are the one that have, or they are the ones that have the information, as to what is happening within the communities. And I believe that once the community gets on board with the Rgpf and relating that level of information, as you rightly said, we can go back and sit down and strategize and come up with plans as to how we can be able to help change the way the society goes with the type of behavior that is happening within our societies.
Yeah, and as Sergeant Grant would normally say, if you see something, see something. And this phrase is not just for Grenada. When you go out there in the wider world, New York buses and stuff, when you ride the buses, you'll see it on the bus. They'll tell you, if you see something, see something. Because everyone has a social responsibility. Yeah. We as police officers, we are servants of the people. We are here to serve, right? And I always believe in servant leadership, because while we lead, we must not forget the servant aspect of it, But we cannot do this thing together. We rely on and we depend on the general populace, the public out there. If you are so conscious-minded, if you care about your community, if you care about your school, if you care about society, if you care about the safety of Grenada, if you care about the advancement of Grenada, We're asking persons to come on board and partner with the police in this community policing strategic approach that we're taking to reduce crime, reduce the fear of crime, and keep people safe.
Now, happy that you made mention of the benefits of the community policing. How is the community policing now able to enhance that of the Rgpf, in terms of some of the programs they are implementing?
Right. So when it comes to community policing, there are a number of strategic pillars, right, that forms part of the community policing approach. And over the past couple of months, we have been working tirelessly among every station, every divisions, and so on, in advancing the whole cause of community policing. Right, so we definitely has a strategic approach, and that's the way we have to go. We have to be forward thinking, and we must have strategic planning as part of our foundation. And so there are a number of pillars that involves in community policing. I'll just name a few of them. And these pillars are basically involves a lot with the general public, right? Persons coming together, volunteering the time and service to serve and be part of these initiatives that we are rolling out, right? Some of the initiatives may be heard of, some may not be heard of. But I started with the Citizen Advisory Body, right? This is one of the foundational pillars of community policing. The Citizen Advisory Body simply means, normally called the CAB, is a grouping of persons within every policing district that forms into a group to advise the police on issues, right? It makes up of persons of good standing within the community, within the policing district, and also there's police representative on that group, right? That Citizen Advisory Body is responsible for identifying issues within the community. They have a social responsibility. It's a voluntary, and they give up the time, they give up the efforts, and sometimes even their resources to ensure that things go well. So they look at what is happening within the community. They see issues and they bring it to their meetings. They deliberate on it with the police and assist in forming strategic plans to addressing those issues, right? The role of the Citizen Advisory Body is very, very important within the community, because as members of that body, and let me say here, the Citizen Advisory Body is not an informant body to the police. They're not police that person that snitches on people, or some people had them as, oh, you're informants to the police. No. They have a social responsibility that they take upon themselves to assist the police in keeping communities safe. So let's suppose there is issues in a particular policing district, let's say truancy, that they would have identified, right? It is their responsibility to bring it to the attention of the police, sit down with the police, and develop ways and means of addressing it, right? Whether it's getting the school attendant officer, getting the Ministry of Education, getting social services, getting CPA, Child Protection Authority, on board, and form that strategic approach in addressing truancy, right? Then you may have to get onto the parents. You want to find out why is that happening? Why is the child not going to school? What are the causes? And once you're able to dig deep and find the causes of the problem, then you develop strategic responses to address the problem, right? And so the Citizen Advisory Body is a very, very important pillar in community policing. And every station within the Rgpf is mandated to have a Citizen Advisory Body up and running. So persons could contact the police station, find out more about the Citizen Advisory Body if they so desire. I know the Citizen Advisory Body, those that are up and functioning, are very active in spreading the message and addressing needs within the community. And so it's very, very important aspect of community policing, the Citizen Advisory Body, right? Then we have what you call the crime management team, right? Which is a team that comprises of the heads of all the stations within a division, right? and other strategic persons. And the reason or the main aim or purpose of this team is to look at the crime trends. Yeah? Look at the crime trends within the policing district, within the division, see where it goes up, where it goes down, see which villages are more prone to that kind of deviant conduct, and develop means to address them, right? All in the thing of keeping people safe and reducing crime. So when you look at this crime statistics within the policing division, and you really realize a particular village is recording high levels of reports. Sometimes all is not criminal. Some are social reports, but it's social reports can lead to criminal reports. So all of these have to be addressed, right? So we look at the different reports and the amount of reports coming in from a particular district, right? And so the crime management team responsibility is to see what is causing the problem, right? High on the agenda in community policing is what we call problem-oriented policing, which is a strategic plan that we are using, and we are encouraging every station, every police station, every police unit to use in addressing issues, right? And so once we do the problem-oriented policing plan, it helps to identify what is the problem within the community, right? Then you also have to dig deeper, and we have a model in management that we use and has adopted within the policing concept called the SARA model, S-A-R-A, right? Where we scan, we analyze, we respond, and we assess, right? SARA, right? So the scanning phase is where you look into the communities and see where or what is the problem, right? Then you want to analyze the problem, dig deeper, find out what is the causation of the problem. What is the causation of the problem? So once we identify the problem and we get to know what are the causes of the problem, then we want to develop the response. How are we going to address the problem? Yeah? How are we going to address the problem? What are the resources that we will need, yeah, to address the problem? So once we develop the response and we execute the response, we then do what you call an assessment, where you go back and you assess and see whether or not the objective is met. Because if you identify, let's say, truancy as a problem, you assess it and to find out what is causing truancy, yeah? Then you develop the response to address truancy. You now have to come back and assess the response to see whether or not the objective has been achieved, in that of reducing incidences of truancy. And when you got to the assessment portion of it, and you realize, okay, it has gone down, that's great. It has remained the same or it increases. If it remains the same and it increases, it simply means that the objective has not been met. So then you go back and start all over again. Look again at the problem, analyze further, and develop additional responses to address the situation, right? So this is a strategic approach that we are taking as an organization in addressing situations within the communities as a proactive approach of policing, right? So we also have the Farm Watch, and the Farm Watch has been around for quite a while, and we are not satisfied at the position that we are as an organization with the state of the Farm Watch schemes within our country, and so we are working behind the scenes and diligently to ensure, just as we place emphasis on the Citizen Advisory Body, emphasis on the Farm Watch, to ensure every policing district where we have that grouping of farming problems, farmers, and the issue of predial larceny, that Farm Watch are being implemented where there is none. Those that are lying dormant to revitalize and reorganize into active Farm Watch schemes. And we're also looking at forming a national farm watch grouping with representation from all of the farm watch schemes on the island, who would form into a national body in terms of the farm watch. The same approach is for the citizen advisory body. We are looking also, and we have started the process both with the farm watch and the citizen advisory body to form that national body. So it will be like a parent body for every other farm watch, a parent body for every other citizen advisory body. We're trying to ensure that we have a standardized approach. Yeah, the work is a lot. It takes a lot. With the construct of the conditions in which we operate and which we function, it takes a lot from the police, right? But I believe if we dig deep, we can achieve. Once we dig deep, we can achieve, because it's all about keeping people safe, right? We are a service-oriented organization, right? It's all about people, right? It's not about sitting in a station working from 8 to 4 and get paid when the month up. It's about satisfying people. How do we satisfy the needs of the people that we serve? And then we have other areas like the neighborhood watch schemes, where neighbors within a particular neighborhood would form themselves into groupings, yeah, and look out for one another, right? And all of these schemes, we advise and we advocate and try to put in place management structure for the continuity and the advancement of every area that we speak of, right? So every area is going to have what you call the president or vice president or chairman or vice chair, a secretary, a PRO, and sometimes they do get into fundraising to assist the drive. So you want to have a treasurer, and obviously you have your flow members. Then we have the business watch, which is another scheme we have set up to assist businesses, right, in looking out for one another, ensuring that the places are secure, right, ensuring that they have proper lighting, adequate visits paid on a regular basis to those business places, ensure that they have the cameras up and running, the proper lighting, proper security, and so on, and ensure that everything is in place with those businesses, right? Then we have what you call the police school club, right? A lot of people would know it as the police boys club. But in this modern day and age and modern society that we're moving into, we're trying to be gender neutral, yeah? And not being biased by saying police boys club. So we have seek to have that name change, yeah? So it's a police school club, and these are the clubs responsible basically for the primary schools, right? Primary school level, right? And it now involves both boys and the girls, right? And this is a very important aspect or pillar in community policing, because we believe as an organization, if we assist in shaping young minds, yeah, in empowering young minds, in developing young minds, we are going to produce great citizens in our society who will be able to stand up for what is right and take responsibility to ensure that Grenada is safe, right? So this is a very, very important aspect of our community policing pillars, the police school clubs. Then we have other areas like the traffic advisory body, right? Where there's a formation of citizens that is going to look at traffic situations within a policing district and advise the police, whether they think there should be a bus stop, whether they think there should not be a bus stop, what in terms of traffic congestions, how they think, because sometimes the police, and not sometimes, the police do not have all of the ideas. And if we think as an organization, we have all the ideas, we are fooling ourselves. We are fooling ourselves, right? So we depend heavily on the citizens, heavily on the communities. And that's why we ask persons to come forward with the ideas. Right? I know there's a gentleman, ordinary citizen, who has submitted a brilliant plan, how he thinks the Rgpf can minimize traffic congestion in the south of the island. You understand? And these are the kind of initiatives and the kind of things that we want to see from people, right? Then we have the school liaison officers, where every policing district appoints a point person responsible, or a group of persons responsible for particular schools, right? And we know nowadays that we're having a lot of issues with our youth, a lot of issues in the schools, and we as an organization is partnering with the Ministry of Education to address those issues, right? And every policing station has a responsibility to ensure that there is a person or persons responsible for every school within the community. Persons that the principal and staff can rely on. They can build a close relationship and be as a point guard to the Rgpf in terms of addressing the needs, right? The liaison officers, they don't have to do the work on their own. They're basically point guard persons, right? Or the face of the organization to these schools, right? The point of contact, right? They don't have to do it all by themselves, right? They gather in information. The school relies on them, give them information. They bring back the information to us, and we develop the strategic plans to address those situations. Then we have what we call the community area officials, right? Again, these are individuals or group of persons that we assign to communities, right, as a point of contact for for the communities. So these persons are responsible to go into the communities. They have to know all the churches, all the shops, all the supermarkets, the clubs. Yeah, they have to know where the blocks are. Who are the people that normally on the block, and build relationship. Yeah, build that contact, right? So sometimes you might pass and you might see maybe 2-3 police officers or one police sitting on a block with young men, and people might say, the police lineman on the block. Yes, the police lineman on the block.
Looking for
because what we want to do is ensure that we engage those young persons and find out from them how best, as an organization, we can walk along with them. They have issues too. They have issues. Sometimes the issues are with us, the way we operate. And we need to hear from persons what they think is the problem, and also what solution they have or recommendations they have to assist us in addressing those problems.
And in fact, just before you go on, sir, in light of what you're speaking there, with all of our society now that is happening with all of these social ills and have that of mental health issues going on, and I believe if you have that of the community officials having to meet with these young persons within the community in particular, because our young persons are stressed, our young persons, have that psychological effect, based on how things are happening within society, because maybe a lack of jobs or maybe family issues or maybe some form of domestic issues, and they just need that one person that they can confide in or trust and be able to speak to about a particular situation. And I believe that once you have that community-oriented person, official there, it can build that trust, that they can relate, and that in itself can help prevent some form of crime.
And this is quite true, because you see, and it's not that the police solving all the issues, it's just that the police taking the lead. Because let's suppose you're out in the block in one of the communities, and the people are telling you, listen, officer, one of the problems we have here, we can't walk. Can the police employ them? No.
Find ways.
But the police could work along with different organizations, different institutions, different ministries responsible for it, and bridge that gap and develop that collaboration. Okay? I have known instances where we were able to partner with construction firms and say, listen, we have these young people, don't have a job. We want to ensure that they stay crime-free. Can you help? And persons would have find employment in those areas. Yeah? There are a lot of programs within some of the ministries in terms of empowering youth to be self-employed and so on. So we could be the liaison between the community
and that other
and those entities, those organizations, to partner to address those issues. Just to name just another two of our pillars that we're looking at is police youth clubs. So you find this in the primary schools, we have the police school clubs. Then we move on to the secondary schools. There is what you call the cadet corps. Very productive organization, I believe. I think they're doing a great job in terms of the cadets. But after you leave secondary school, what do you go to? Clubs. Form yourselves into youth clubs, right? And develop yourselves and also develop your community. And I always mention wherever I go, the work being done by the Grand Roy Police Station, right? They have a very active youth club within the policing district that is involved in a lot of community activities, a lot of empowerment activities. And they often would partner with Grand Coda, would often partner with the Grand Roy Police Station with those youth club, with this youth club, to ensure that training is being given, counseling, whatever area, sporting activities, to use up the energy, yeah, and that is so good. And we encourage other policing districts, where it's feasible, have those youth clubs, engage those youth into useful thing. And then we have again the health and fitness clubs. We have seen a number of them, dwindling, but we're encouraging stations to get active, yeah, and have that health and fitness club up and running. Yeah, we know Grenville has one. We know South St. George Police Station has one. Sutton used to have one at one time. There used to be one of the SSU camp in Pearls. I'm not sure if it's still.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, there used to be one of the SSU camp in St. George's. I don't think it's up and running, but I know South St. George still has one. Grenville still has one going. And so we're encouraging, the Western Division had one in Guelph. I'm not sure if it's still up and running, but we are encouraging stations to have that health and wellness club up and running, where you involve persons to channel the energies on an evening after work, whether it's walking, whether it's exercising and so on, engaging in social activities. But this is very important. We have to look at the holistic human being, yeah, not just walk, but also the social aspect of it, and also the health thing. We need to keep people healthy and so on.
In fact, and you spoke earlier as one of the pillars being that of the citizen advisory body, and the actual role and function and responsibility in regards to working collaboratively with that of the police and the community to help strategize. And from being around for a while, what I've noticed is that where you have issues within certain communities, these bodies meet, and they don't just discuss among themselves, but they share, and then you find them going back out to the communities, and you have what we say, maybe the community walkthroughs, or maybe have some form of lectures or presentations within the communities to help bring about that level of education to the persons within these areas to help alleviate or to reduce that type of problem that the community might just be having. So I think the whole concept of community policing and the platform of which it is used is a way forward to help develop our Tri-Island state. And I want to take the opportunity to also, ask persons to get on board. Feel free, make contact with the police or someone that that might just be a part of one of the platforms. To be able to bring some form of resource or energy, as you said, to help grow the Rgpf, the community on a whole, with ideas and so forth.
Yeah, and also I think it's worthwhile that I mentioned this approach. For instance, this coming Saturday, the St. Paul's CAB, Citizen Advisory Body, has initiated, and normally on a quarterly basis, church services where they will go to different churches. And this Saturday coming, the St. Paul's CAB will be visiting the St. Paul's Seventh-day Adventist Church, right? And towards this end, we have asked members of the Central CAB and also members of the South St. George CAB. We have sent out invitation to them to also join along with the St. Paul's CAB to attend that church service. And not just the CAB members, but we have also sent out invitation to the police stations within those districts, the St. Paul's Police Station, the Central Police Station, and the South St. George Police Station, to make members of the force available to attend that church service along with the cab members, right? Because we're trying to show the importance of the city advisory body in assisting the police in keeping Grenada safe.
So as we conclude this morning program, time has gone by so quickly. Any other final comments as it relates to community policing and the way forward, the strategy, and what the Rgpf might just be expecting or would like to see from the person within the community?
Well, I'd just like to encourage every person, every citizen of Grenada, every person living within our shores to support the Rgpf in its endeavor, in its strive, in its approach towards community policing. Everyone has a part to play in reducing crime, in reducing the fear of crime, and keeping Grenada safe. Because one crime is one crime too many, and crime doesn't just affect the individuals involved, but it has a spillover and a rippling effect on society. So I'm encouraging persons to work along with the police force, support the police force, confide in the police force in assisting the police force to address the needs within the communities in keeping communities safe. And I want to encourage every police officer to do what it takes to ensure that we deliver a quality product and a quality service to the people that we serve. Because every police officer is a community policing officer.
All right, so at this junction, I want to say thank you to you, sir, for being here with us on the program this morning, the conversation with the Rgpf, and we look forward on the next occasion to have you with us on another occasion to say or to speak on a relevant issue, a topic that can help bring information to that of our Tri-Island state. So thank you again, sir, and do have a wonderful Wednesday, and continue to do the good job that you are doing.
Thank you, and you do the same.
Wonderful. So, folks, we have now concluded our program for today, the conversation with the Rgpf. And as you go through the day, be sure to help someone and be good, do good to someone. And remember, if you hear something, say something. If you see something, ensure that you say what you actually saw. And all of that can help us bring our society, our community in one piece, one safe. Lock and stay to Real 91.9 FM. Have a blessed day.
Street in Grenville and Grandans. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, your financial security is guaranteed.
This is Jamila from Soca Say So, bigging up Grenada's hottest radio station, Real 91.9.
Yo, this is your boy Pierre NBA Pumper, and you're now locked on to Grenada's hottest radio station, Real 91.9 or 91.5. Keep it real, man. If you keep it real, just keep going. Don't hurt. Chase some bread. No more. So lock it.